What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith. As you see on the thumbnail, you are now tuned into my post-game recap, reaction, all that. As a matter of fact, there's still 3 minutes left in the game of the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I'm going to give you guys my truest thoughts, truest feelings on the whole thing. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and play my intro music, and we're going to go ahead and jump right in here. Here we go.
Touchdown with Doug Smith, celebrate, that's a new move. Heinzman, 2 views, catch him on YouTube. NFL coverage, interviews, who lose, who win, who lose. Comedy, you choose, it's not about moolah. The QB's like Tua is missing in action. No L's on my shula. Play it like Marino, it's a gamble like casino. Hungry for it, but you know we still gon' try to feed the beef. Rivalries will lead the conference. Cowboys of the Eagles, will Belichick be a threat? Better check. Tomlin on deck, much respect to the vet. What you expect? Gotta tune in for the rest. Make sure to sub, like, check. At the best, bad boy, the sports podcast. For the threat across the north, east, south, in the west. Sitting back clueless, time to tune in. Now another sports center, it's a movement.
That's right, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith. If you love that intro, shout out to Ill Sense Birth and Waylay Creations for putting that together for me. Right now, there's literally, it's at the 2-minute warning. The Philadelphia Eagles are winning 24-7. Look, this isn't going to be a Miami Dolphins versus Baltimore Ravens. Minnesota Vikings are not going to win this game. And it's crazy because we're looking at a very good Minnesota Vikings team this year. Very good. I mean, they got that guy. He has I believe it's a Nigerian last name, but the new manager of the team, who is, man, he's a financial wizard. He's gonna fix the cap room, and he's already not a fan of Kirk Cousins. You could kind of tell in some of his interviews, but nonetheless, Kirk Cousins is the starting quarterback of this game. But you have Justin Jefferson, who is, don't be shocked if he's the number 1 wide receiver in the entire NFL this year. Cooper Kupp is going to be pushing for another back-to-back, right? But, man, what a game, what a game, what a game. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles as they wrap up this game right now. And Jalen Hurts, man, before this game, before this season started, very similar to the Miami Dolphins, he is on the hot seat. Because we all know Philadelphia Eagles are very, very impatient, very impatient. Hey, shout out to Nightings for tuning in, man. Yeah, how about them birds, man? Hey, we're talking about it right now, my friend. Eagles look fantastic. And when I think of NFC as far as like playoffs, and it's so early, like, right, this is week 2, so this all may be jibber jabber, in 2 months from now, right? But it's Eagles, it's Rams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'll throw another team in there. Probably Saints. I think Saints will tease us a little bit, but it's not a lot of really good teams in the NFC. So I could very well see just like look, man. That once the playoffs happen, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And speaking of anything can happen, let's talk about Jalen Hurts, because I got a lot to get off my chest. He says, "Yes, sir. People were wrong about Jalen." Man, I was on the Philly the podcast. If you get a chance, if you're an Eagles fan, I cover the whole NFL on this channel. If you're an Eagles fan, check him out. That's my guy. I've been on that show before. He's been on here once or twice. And I made a comment. I said, Jalen Hurts is going to be a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. Now, this was the season before last, so Jalen Hurts was still technically a Philadelphia Eagle. And I had anywhere between 30 to 40 comments of just hate people coming from my throat on how, and again, this is 2 years ago. And I said, guys, you need to take a deep breath, woosah. And I said, Carson Wentz is another Kirk Cousins. It's another Kirk Cousins. Interception machine. Well, actually, I wouldn't say interception machine, but at that time he wasn't so good. And he showed you who he is. And I said, Carson, don't be surprised if Carson Wentz gets traded. Well, look what happened. He went to the Indianapolis Colts. We saw that happen, right? And then, Jalen Hurts, I thought he looks pretty good last year, but he's still, and even right now, I still don't see his development is not done. We have not seen the ceiling of Jalen Hurts, right? And Jalen Hurts, man, you got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, just those 2 guys. If you stop right there, they can mess up a lot of secondaries, and make a lot of people very upset. And Jalen Hurts, man, I'll say the Miami media is nowhere near as bad as the Philadelphia media, but I'll say the fans are a lot more hardcore in Philly, if that makes any sense. But man, Jalen Hurts, man, I love how he carried himself. This is a team where a lot of people are on the hot seat, and if this Philly team does not make it to the playoffs and at least win one game, we are going to take and see some people possibly take and lose their job for sure. Anywho, enough about the deep talk. Let's celebrate these Philadelphia Eagles, man. Even though this is a 3 interception game for Kirk Cousins, it was almost like a 5 or 6 interception game for Kirk Cousins. I do not see him being the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings if he continues to take and play this game. Kirk Cousins is a statistical warrior, and anybody who wants to take and press me on this in the comment section, watch the game highlights. And yes, it's just one game, right? Even Tom Brady has had his 4 interception games. They're rare, but they do take and they happen, right? Here's the thing. He is Phillip Rivers 2.0. Phillip Rivers 2.0 is what I see in Kirk Cousins. And he will rock your world, man. He will light up the stat sheet. 475 yards, 5 touchdowns, and then the very next game, he will remind you why he probably is not much better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. Probably should take and be a backup somewhere. Nightings, I actually took and saw. I thought he picked up too, but he had to get that other foot in there. But folks, ladies and gentlemen, and I am watching this live. So if you're looking at the pre-recorded, I am watching this live. Philadelphia Eagles that pulled it off 24-7. I thought this game was going to be a lot closer. And shout out to N'Kobe Dean, who I've interviewed on this show. Shout out to Marlon Tui Pelotu. He's a defensive tackle. Drafted in last year's draft. He plays for the Eagles. He's been on this show. And a shout out to a couple of the Vikings. Jalen Naylor's been on this show. Then also as well, Brian Asamoah, linebacker, he's a hybrid linebacker, mostly playing special teams in this game, has been on the show. So have a huge respect for these Minnesota Vikings. I still think Minnesota is going to have a really good year this year. But I don't see it going anything past the wild card, man. Minnesota, if they had not even an elite quarterback, just something better than what Kirk Cousins has to bring to the table, this is a team that is, it's going to take and go places. Kirk Cousins, it seems that he creates problems where they should not exist. And shout out to Kirk Cousins' agent, because this man is getting paid. And I don't know how he's making the money he is. He shouldn't be making more than $5 million a year. But anywho, I'm not going to go counting other people's money. Right now I'm watching the Jalen Hurts interview. I'm going to go ahead and hire it a little bit. Look, 26 for 31, 333 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And then I think he ran like 2 touchdowns or 1 touchdown or something like that. Man, thoroughbred leader. And a lot of people want to compare Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa because they both went to Alabama, even though Jalen finished off for the Oklahoma Sooners. They want to compare the two, and they're 2 completely different quarterbacks. I would say Jalen Hurts is more in the conversation of, more in the Lamar Jackson conversation for sure, but they're both great quarterbacks. It's just, you can't compare the two. You literally cannot, other than that, they went to Alabama. Their styles are completely different. Let me see here. See what you got. It says that interception on Hurts was honestly on Gainwell. Got to catch that. Besides the pick, Hurts was excellent. I agree, man. Hurts was fantastic today. Man, he had composure. He gave you everything that you would want in a quarterback. Let's talk Darius Slay. There's 2 interceptions. Man, Darius Slay came to play. That should be a T-shirt. That should be a T-shirt right there. Darius Slay came to play. Darius Slay, man, looks fantastic today. And they mentioned that during the game that he's usually a pretty goofy guy. He's very goofy. He's not like the rah-rah guy, but, man, he went out there and he balled out. Darius Slay balled the heck out. And I love to see it. I absolutely love to see it. Darius Slay took and did his thing, man. Not 1, but 2 interceptions. and to see him get riled up. Oh yeah, then on top of that, he was selected as a team captain. Man, that's insane. That is insane. I love this Philadelphia Eagles team. I love their running back, love their quarterback, I love their receivers. Defense, it seems that they're getting it together. But they looked good, and they have depth. They have some pretty good coaching. I'm not gonna lie, when this coach was hired last year and he was giving the stupid interviews, I was like, man, this is not a good hire. I don't think this is not going to be good at all. And this coach of the Philadelphia Eagles has done a absolutely stupendous job with this team and everything that he's doing. Now the Eagles are starting off the year 2-0. They got a few games ahead that's going to look a little bit tricky for them, but I'm really excited to take and see what they take and they look like. See what Nightings had to say. It says Giants and Eagles both 2-0. Somehow Cowboys are 1-1. Commanders are 1-1. Commanders almost pulled off that win, but man, it was against a very good Detroit Lions team. Detroit Lions, I can't wait to do one of these post-game reviews on them. I'll be doing some work on them here pretty soon because I have a lot of subscribers on this channel who are Detroit Lions fans, so I definitely owe it to y'all for sure. But yeah, Giants starting off 2-0. Definitely a shocker. I don't see this lasting too long though, so don't get too excited, Giants fans, but and whatnot. But so they beat by the Lions. But man, what a game tonight! What a game tonight! Another thing that was really exciting to take and see is this Eagles D line. It's a nice mix of rookies, young guys who've been in the league for a year or two, and then veterans who've been here, like Graham, who's been here for a while, right? To see them get in after the quarterback, it's so exciting. And one of my absolute favorite in this past year's draft for the Philadelphia Eagles, when it comes to a tandem, is Nakobe Dean and Davis, the D-line. And they play on the same team in Alabama. Now, I didn't see Nakobe out there. Last time I checked, I think he was recovering from an injury or something like that. So he should hopefully be there in a few weeks. But, man, that was nuts. That was absolutely nuts. Let me see here. It's just the Lions. You guys just lost to. Let me hear it. Oh, yeah, no, Commanders. Yeah, I'm actually not a Commanders fan. My brother is one of the co-hosts of the show. But Lions are a good team. They are a good team, man. I have the Lions. I'll be honest with you. I have them winning probably like 10 games this year, man. They're such a fun team to watch. And to see them coming alive, they're really buying into that spirit, man. It's like, man. But anywho, we're not going to talk about Lions. We're going to take and talk about these Philadelphia Eagles beating the Minnesota Vikings. Before this game, please don't hate me for this, I actually had Minnesota winning this game by a field goal. By just a field goal. But again, Kirk Cousins did not put this team in the best position to win. The offensive coordinators did not put this team in the best position to win. And the defense, it wasn't just Kirk Cousins' game, but Kirk Cousins, as the leader of the team, he's going to take majority of the blame. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. You know what I mean? So also, if you're taking and you're watching this, make sure you go ahead, you subscribe on YouTube. That takes and helps the algorithm grow. Hit that like button as well, too. And comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this game. Another thing, it was interesting to see Dalvin Cook. His average, I think they said it was like 113 or something like that from scrimmage. And this dude had like 33, maybe 40 yards the whole game. So for Philly to come in there and do that kind of damage to these Minnesota Vikings, man, was crazy, man. And Minnesota Vikings, I mean, they started off the year with a bang. To take and come in, beat the Green Bay Packers, very emotional win. But when you're the coach of this team, and I'm glad Mike Zimmer's not there anymore. I think his time, I don't think he's a bad coach. It's just, hey, his time just kind of came and went kind of thing. But you gotta keep your team mellow. Can't have them too high, can't have them too low. You got to be right here. Can't be too big for the moment. Just like with the Miami Dolphins the other day, right? They beat the brakes off the Patriots, but then they got punched in the mouth and almost lost that Ravens game, right? So could have been a lot closer more sooner. But for this game, man, Philly, they did their thing. And look, I also want to take and talk about the running of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was stupendous. He was so magnificent in that game. To take and see Jalen Hurts out there, it's interesting. I'm sure you guys remember a football player by the name of RG3, Robert Griffin III. He was fantastic for this rookie year. And my problem with him was that he was taking nasty, just freaking disgusting, nasty hits. Well, not Jalen Hurts. He's a very smart runner. He knows when to take and slide. He has a head on his shoulders. And if I had to say maybe the second or third fastest quarterback in the league, I'm gonna take and say Jalen Hurts for sure, absolutely. But guys, go ahead and comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I'm about to take and wrap up this post-game show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well too. If you're not familiar with the channel, I cover the whole entire NFL, not just the Eagles, not just the Vikings. I cover the whole NFL. And then January through April, I have some more NFL interviews on the way. It's going to be a lot of draft prospects. So a lot of that. So just how people go in milk crates and they look for music that they want to hear. That's how I am with these football players. I start getting the interview. So come January and then February, I'll be full force. So this Philadelphia Eagles team, man, I'll be honest with you, I was not shocked to take and see them win tonight, though I didn't quite have them winning, but it's only because Minnesota is a good team, was a good team before this game. They got straight up exposed tonight, and the Minnesota Vikings flat out did their thing, man, for sure. I want to take and say Minnesota Vikings, they have a backup quarterback by the name of Kellen Mond, and I'm very curious to see when are they going to put him in the game. When are they going to put Kellen Mond in the game? Because Kirk Cousins was terrible tonight. He was so bad. And my brother, shout out to Isaac if you're watching this. He's a Commanders fan, so he knows a little something about Kirk Cousins, man. And Kirk Cousins he's just hot garbage, man. And you're talking about, you look at that Vikings team, they're almost a complete team. Maybe add a little more depth on the O-line. You got receivers. You have pretty good defense. I would say next year's draft secondary and get a new quarterback because this team is absolutely trash. Whereas with the Philadelphia Eagles, a lot of new additions. And usually when you have a lot of new additions on a team, it takes a minute for it to gel. It's not like, it's like the game of Madden. Oh, I just added on my roster. This is just going to work out. It doesn't take and work that way. It does not take and work that way. But it's working right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown out there. There was this game, and I uploaded this on my YouTube Shorts. Check out my YouTube Shorts. I try to so I'm not able to get all the big plays around the NFL, but I try to get on there as much as possible. And the videos are doing pretty well. But I got one that A.J. Brown recorded and uploaded right now. And it's of a 23-yard catch. Well, the catch is actually only probably like 12 yards. But he's sitting there in the middle of the field, and the defenders are coming in, and he jukes to the right, jukes to the left, jukes to the right, and then takes and breaks far to the left of the field. And all these Vikings defender, I saw Hendricks. Hendricks was Michael Hendricks. Probably messing up his first name, but last name's Kendricks. I know he had a brother who used to play for the Eagles back in the day, and he's just zipping around, man. And it's like, goodness gracious, man! Like he embarrassed this team. The secondaries, everything was just kind of bad for them. And I feel for Justin Jefferson too, of the Minnesota Vikings, man. What a great player. Heart. You see him getting pissed off at the end. I do not see this relationship with him. If this keeps and goes on for another 2 or 3 weeks, I see something boiling over, some type of argument on sideline. I don't see Kirk Cousins being the quarterback forever for this team. And sometimes I'll say this. I'm sure you guys all take and remember the year. What's the name? Let's Ride. Russell Wilson took and got drafted, into the NFL. And they brought in Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn took and came over from the Raiders or something like that. And he was supposed to be a starting quarterback. But then this guy, Russell Wilson, comes out of nowhere, and he lights it up in training camp. They're like, whoa, hold on. Russell Wilson is going to take and be our starter. At that point in time, I'll say Matt Flynn has the better arm, but Russell Wilson is the better player. Kind of goes back to my Carson Wentz versus, Jalen Hurts conversation. Jalen Hurts is the better player, but Carson Wentz has the better arm. But this ain't a throwing competition. This isn't like where you're goofing off with your boys and you're like, hey, let's see how far I can throw this ball. This is a game. There's schemes you got to go up against. And to see Jalen Hurts go out there, do his thing is awesome. But when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, I'm just calling it right now. I am already predicting a future quarterback controversy. Calling it right now. Kellen Mond time, man. Like, get Kirk Cousins out of there. I understand you got this dude on payroll. He's milking a lot of your salary for your team. Get this man out of here. He need to go. He need to get the heck out of here for sure. Also, if you're just now tuning in, go ahead, hit that subscribe button for sure. That takes and helps the channel take and grow. Hit that bell for the alerts. I cover the whole entire NFL. I do live shows. I do 2 to 3 live shows a week. And then throughout the week, I also take and do solo episodes as well, too. So we got that as well. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and close up the show tonight. I hope you guys all have a wonderful night. Wow. Congratulations again to the Philadelphia Eagles on a huge victory. Interceptions, sacks, touchdowns, huge runs by Jalen Hurts, throws by Jalen Hurts. If you weren't a fan of Jalen Hurts before this game, I'd be very shocked if you're not after this game. Jalen Hurts came, saw, conquered, and defeated what's supposed to be a very good Minnesota Vikings defense, but time will tell about that. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and play my outro. You guys have a wonderful evening. If you guys want to take and donate to the channel as well, too, I got my Cash App, all that information down below. I am looking at getting a new microphone, new background, whole bunch of other good stuff. So you guys have a blessed night. I'll play my outro. Take care.
Touchdown with Doug Smith, celebrate, that's a new move. Heisman, 2 views, catch him on YouTube. NFL coverage, interviews, new news, who win, who lose, comedy, you choose. It's not about moolah, the QB's like Tua is missing in action. No L's on my shooter, play it like Marino, it's a gamble like casino. Hungry for it, but you know we still gon' try to feed the people. Rivalries will lead the conference, Cowboys of the Eagles. Will Belichick be a threat, better check. Tomlin on deck, much respect to the vet. What you expect? Gotta tune in for the rest. Make sure to sub, like, check. At the best, bad boy, the sports podcast. For the threat across the north, east, south, in the west. Sitting back clueless, time to tune in. Now another sports center, it's a movement.